Hey guys, it's Stephanie. Today we're going to be covering how to make a half silicone, half fabric tail. The first thing you're going to need is a fabric base. I copied a pattern from a fabric tail I already owned and did it out of plain tan, but you can also do it on the regular base of a, say, Fin Fun mermaid tail. So after you have your fabric base, you're going to want to make a body cast. So you're going to stand in garbage bags and have someone tape you up. It's much more amusing for them than it is for you. But hey, it is what it is. Next, you're going to want to paint the base of your tail. So originally I planned on doing this with regular acrylic paint, but I found out rather quickly that was a lot more difficult than I anticipated. It seemed to soak into the actual fabric. So then I ended up finding spray paints that were similar to the colors that I wanted to use in my tail. Now, it definitely wasn't as neat as I would have liked it, but it didn't matter because I was covering it soon enough with other paint. So the first thing you're going to need silicone-wise is type 1 silicone. It's really important to get type 1 because of the environment. Type 2 has a lot more chemicals in it that you don't want to put into the water. The second thing you'll need is some sort of spatula or painter's tool for the fin. And then you're going to need a spoon for most of the tail. I use the Wawa disposable spoons. I think they work well. Finally, you're going to need a bowl of ice cold water with Dawn dish soap in it. This helps the silicone stop from sticking. So for all of the tails that you're going to do, you need to start at the bottom just to build a good base for the silicone to stick to the actual tail itself. So we're starting with the fin of the tail. So I'm just running silicone up the fin, and then taking my spatula and painter's tool and just smearing it out, trying to make it look like they're raised, so you kind of give it a vertical shape. The silicone is very sticky, so make sure you do not put your arm in it, otherwise things will happen and it will not be fun. So in between every stroke of silicone I'm putting on, I am putting the tool back into the water. This is important because, again, it will stop the silicone from sticking to the tool, and it will allow it to stick to the fabric that you're putting it on instead. This is really tedious, honestly, for the first part because you're not laying scales, and it kind of just looks like a mess, but it looks a lot better once the paint gets on, and you can add your own 3D rays as well. So this is the bottom of the fin after I went down with all the silicone. You can see I tried to keep it all vertical as opposed to horizontal, make it look more fish-like. So now we start laying the scales. You're going to start laying just regular dots, and then you'll come in with a spoon. Again, put the spoon into the water with the soap just to make sure it doesn't stick that badly. And you should be good to go. There's another part after this that will show a better angle. So here's a better angle at how to actually do the scales. So you're going to put dot, you're going to take your spoon, you're going to push down and kind of up to make it puddle towards the top. You can also spread it out to the sides to make it touch the scale next to it, which is pretty important because you don't want the water getting in between the scales. So you're going to do this all the way up the tail. It will take a while. I think each side took me about 4 hours to complete. That's counting the fin as well as painting and not breaks. So take your time. You'll want it to be better, so go slow. You'll eventually get sick of it. The smell is terrible. I'm gonna warn you that right now. Use a ventilated area. I wish I had worn a mask for this, but I didn't have one and I didn't feel like going out to buy one. So I suggest doing it outside and doing it with a mask. It does smell like straight vinegar, so if you're very sensitive to vinegar, again, be careful. So this is how much of the tail I got done with only one bottle of silicone caulk. So I got the entire fin done and about a quarter of the way up the tail. It takes about 2.5 to do the entire thing for each side. This is what the final product looks like after you just do silicone, so it's still see-through and you're still seeing your base of it. So now it's time to start painting it, and for this I used Pearl EX powders. They stick to the silicone pretty well. So I used the turquoise and the spring green to make the base of my teal. I had never found any tutorials on mixing, but it seems to go pretty well actually. You just shake them up. I wouldn't stir them with a brush, otherwise your brush is filled with them, but it seems to work pretty well. So what you're just going to do is you're going to dip it in. You don't want to get too much pigment on there because the pigment is very powdery, and especially with the texture of it, you won't get as much use out of it as if you use small sections. And you're just going to brush it on pretty lightly. You'll see there it has a pretty strong color. It's very similar to the spray paint color that was used on it, so I wanted that on purpose, but also it just gives a nice shine. It does take a while, you need to be patient. If you get some pigment that you didn't want to be there on a certain section, like say you wanted to alternate pink and blue or something like that, you can always cover it again. So this is after the Pearl EX powder was applied to the tail. You can see it's not see-through and has a lot more shiny finish than it did when just the silicone. So I took the Flamingo Pink Pearl EX powder and I mixed that with a micro Pearl EX powder. You see there. I got this really nice light pink, and that's going to go right next to the blue on the farthermost of the pink colors. Took the Flamingo Pink again, and this time I mixed it with Brilliant Gold as well as the Micro Pearl to lighten it up a little bit. And I got this really nice coral color, which is great because my mermaid name is Coral. And we're going to put that on the inside of the pink, so it's still not on the full inside, but we're just going to make another V shape. And then finally I took the red russet and mixed it again with the Brilliant Gold, and I got this deep copper color, which I really liked. So I put that on the innermost section of the tail. You'll see the only section that's left, and gave this nice gradient to it. And then that light pink from the first set of pink scales we did, we're going to make a straight line down the center to give it a little more dimension. And here's the finished product. You just want to spray it with some silicone sealant just to make sure that the Pearl EX powders don't come off while you're swimming in it. Hey guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them below, and while you're there, please subscribe to my channel. I know there's not a lot on it now, but that will be changing really soon. Also, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to have a lot of mermaid pics coming up and mermaid videos, hopefully with the new tail in the water, which I'm really excited about. Overall, this project was very time consuming. It probably took me 26 to 30 hours of just straight labor. However, when you put that in with the amount I spend, which is less than $100, it's definitely worth it because you're able to completely customize your own silicone tail without having to pay the big name prices, so you're not paying over $1,000 for it. So the time was definitely worth putting in, and definitely worth the price as well. Like I said, if you have any questions, drop them below. I hope to be getting another video out soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys get to make your own tails and send them to me if you do, because I'm really excited to see what people come up with. Bye guys!